Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Success Secrets Revealed radio live stream show. Today, we're blessed to have with us Daniel Meyer, and he is the founder of data analytics at Sonic Analytics. And we're going to go into detail about who he is in a minute. But what I want to talk to you about right now is how this show got started, the purpose for this show, and then the sponsor, and then we're going to go into the show, okay? Success Secrets Revealed actually got started because my normal radio show, Internet Marketing and Business Solutions with Ronald Couming, because of COVID, the station wasn't manning the station with live people. So they were just running reruns. So they were running reruns past episodes. I've been doing the show for like 3 years. And while all that information was great, you know, it wasn't as timely as what we're going through right now. So I wanted to continue with this and also continue making sure that our listeners got current, up-to-date information about what's going on, how to handle what's going on, and how to grow their business or have a little more mental and emotional peace with their daily lives. So I started this show, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the audio, I'm going to rip it out, and I'm going to send it to the radio station, and they will, in time, put it into play. But you guys get the lives now. And the sponsor for this show, no guest gets paid to be on this show. They don't pay to be on this show. I don't get paid to be on this show. My company, RCS Online Solutions, they sponsor the whole thing. You're getting everything set up, everything. And what we do is we help business owners and entrepreneurs, much like you, attract, convert, and retain your ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. At the end of the day, when people are searching for a solution, a product, or a service to solve their problem, they're typing that in. They're not typing in your name or your website. So if you come up on the first page for your name or your website, I'm telling you that means nothing. You want to come up for the product, service, and results that you provide, because no one's searching for your name or your company's name unless they know you. And they're not going to search for you if they know you. They're going to pick up the phone and call you. Or if they forgot your phone number, then they might search just to get your contact info. But 99.99% of people are searching for the product, solution, or service online. And that's what you need to come up on the first page for. And that's what we do. And that means you get to serve more people, and you make more money by helping more people. So anyhow, with all that said, I want to welcome our guest today, and he's Daniel Meyer. And Daniel Meyer heads both Sonic Analytic and Sonic Virtual Staffing, sister companies that deliver both data analytic solutions and virtual staffing to businesses in the United States and the Philippines. With over 20 years of big data and virtual staffing, Dan is one of the most sought-after public speakers in Asia and offers big data coaching and analytic training seminars on both sides of the Pacifics. We can go into what Sonic Analytic is, and we can also go into what Sonic Virtual Staffing is. So I'm going to bring Dan on, and he can tell us better than me trying to read all that. And you guys know I went to school in Boston, so I'm going to butcher it, right? Just trying to keep it real, right? Being real and authentic here. Dan, thank you so much for being on. We had a little technical difficulty, but survived it.
It's my pleasure, Ron. And, you know, it's one of those things where we live in this technology age and we just got to roll with it, right? Got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
And,
I love it. And originally we were scheduled, you know, 4:12, but then this thing said 3 o'clock, but we were here, and we had somebody else for 3. So anyhow, tell us, Dan, and tell us more about you, your background. I mean, that's, you know, you're a sought-after speaker in Asia. Not very many people can say they're a sought-after speaker in their own city, town, state, country, never mind in Asia. So can you tell us a little bit more about how you came to be in the business you're in, and a little more about your history?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So it's the short version is basically I used to work for Wells Fargo for about 15 years as an analyst. I did a lot of IT stuff, a lot of big data stuff, and I was doing that for a while. And then towards the end of my time at Wells Fargo, they started doing some outsourcing where they were setting up a team in the Philippines to be able to do some of the data analysis work, so they could have more 24/7 processing and that kind of stuff. And so somebody had to go over to Manila to do the training. So I volunteered, got over to the Philippines back in 2011, and I started thinking, you know what? I love it here. I can just set up a business here. So I left Wells Fargo, moved to the Philippines, set up a business there. The business being training people how to use data, training companies on how to use the data in their decision making, how to set up, data mining and data processing. So I did that for about 6 years in the Philippines. And as I was doing that, I started getting asked to do more and more types of training. And one of the things people started asking me to do was to help them set up virtual teams. So I was doing all kinds of training across Southeast Asia, and then I started setting up a virtual business. And about a year ago, I decided that I wanted to focus more on being back in the U.S. So I started, doing a little bit less things there and more things here. And then in January of this year, I launched Sonic Virtual Assistants, which is a business built around virtual staffing. So I took what I started kind of as a sideline business and grew that into another big business I'm working on now. So it keeps me busy, and it's been well timed. The fact that people are working from home now and trying to grow their business virtually, I just happen to be in the right place at the right time, and so that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, and I love it. And I'm a big fan of that myself. I often tell my clients, stay in your genius zone. Whatever you do that makes your money, that's where you need to be. You don't need to be doing your posts on Facebook or doing this or doing that. You need to be serving your clients at the highest level. So I frequently tell my clients, learn it, do it, delegate it. But
Absolutely.
if you're in like a real service arena and it's not like you're just providing something, I often tell them to learn it, do it, and duplicate it. So if you can actually duplicate it by training somebody, even if they already know how to do, let's say, write a blog or, do a website, but you want to train them to do it the way that you would do it. So when they're doing it, they're doing what you would do. Then they send it back to you before the client even sees it, and then you edit it. So now you're taking a 30-hour project, and you're getting paid on a 30-hour project. You're paying the other person to do it, and then you get that difference. But now you go in and you edit it, and you're making sure that the customer and clients is getting what you would do if you were doing it, but you're saving yourself 28, 25 hours per project. And that allows you to focus on your business instead of being in your business, right?
That's exactly it. I mean, you got it in a nutshell. When I first started my first business, one of my mentors told me to be successful, you have to duplicate yourself. You got to find a couple people that you can train to do parts of what you do so they can do it to free yourself up. And ever since then, I kind of lived the motto that, it's all about focusing on what you do best and hiring for all the rest. And, in this day and age where we have cloud storage and internet access, worldwide, basically you find the people wherever they are, and you can have things happen in your business 24/7. It's really important to have things happen while you're sleeping. That's when you're successful. So
I love it. And I tell people that all the time too. I love it. You speak in my language, because you want to, whether, if you have like an online course or something, you're selling somebody, right? And that is being marketed for you. You're making money in your sleep because people are buying your courses. But what you're talking about is now, if you are hiring somebody who's in the Philippines or Pakistan or somewhere, but they got to have a good use of the English language, and they got to have good access to the internet. If you try to go out there and find a VA on your own, you're gonna have them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then their parents get sick, their internet goes out, there's a typhoon, then you're stuck retraining somebody. So what I've done is I've created videos on every single thing, just about, right? I just created a shot the screenshot and just did it. And then when I hire somebody new, I just stick them in front of the videos and say, when I tell you I need this done, do it this way. If you have any questions, re-see the video. And if you have any questions after that, watch the video again.
That's great.
Then send me an email, all right? Because if it isn't clear and I just did it, we may need to talk about replacement. But yeah, no, I love what you're doing. And so tell people a little bit more about how that can actually help them. I know I'm a big believer in it, but let's tell our listeners.
Sure. Well, you said something a few minutes ago that really rings true, is the fact that you really want to find somebody who can speak in your voice, right? Somebody that can basically be you. And I'll give you an example of how I do that, right? So I have, a huge LinkedIn profile. I've got like 17,000 connections and I'm on like 50 groups and all this stuff, but I don't do any of it myself. I set it up. I set things in motion, but then I hired a VA and I have her basically manage my LinkedIn every day. She's out there looking for new clients. She's welcoming, new connections. She's reminding people, happy anniversary, happy birthday, all the things like that, posting in groups. And she just tells me, hey, you need to look at this message. It's something important. Or what do you think about this company? Should we reach out to them? So I actually only go into my LinkedIn like 2 or 3 times a week. But I'm on LinkedIn all the time, all week, right? So I'm constantly growing my network and engaging. And that's the kind of thing that a VA can do. It takes what you would do, but multiplies it and allows you to not have to do all the things that are repetitive and mundane. They're important, but they're not things that you need to be doing yourself.
Now that brings up a question though. If the VA is that good enough to speak for someone? I mean, in your case, it's like why you need outsourcing, right? So it's not, it's more of informational opposed to instructional. So if I was selling managed services, that might be one thing. But let's say in my case, online services, right? SEO, the benefits, get ranked, people can find you, they can consider you. If you don't get ranked, they can't find you, they can't consider you. You know what I mean? What this means to you. But so now would a VA be able to speak in my language where they have to actually know the benefits of, the service itself? And if they do speak it, then why aren't they doing their own business?
So I can give you a couple of responses to that. First, on the VA side, a lot of the ones that I recruit are former call center agents. If you don't know a whole lot about the Philippines, it was an American colony. So people that understand English in the Philippines have an American style of English. They understand American business culture. That's why there's so many call centers in the Philippines. I mean, if you call 1-800 customer service for any American company, you got a 50-50 chance of getting the call center in the Philippines. That's really the primary reason why. It's not just cost, it's also that American background. So I pull from that talent pool. They understand how to do things in an American business style. And then on the client side, I look for clients that we can work with that have content that we can consume, right? So if you've got a blog, if you've been doing videos, if you've written a book, if you've done things that talk about what's in your head and you put it out there for consumption, the VA can then learn from that. So they can, start taking pages of a book and turn them into posts, make a little image. They can start clipping pieces of your videos and repurposing and repackaging them and be new marketing pieces. So that's like the first step, is to kind of take what you've already created and repackage it. And as they get to know your business better and get to know you better, then they become more and more stronger in speaking in your voice. And that's kind of the goal we have. But then, and the last thing you mentioned that I'll speak about is, why do they not do it themselves? Well, if you've ever been to some of these countries like the Philippines or Pakistan, it's hard to have a good career. There's not a lot of what we would call in the US white collar jobs. So if you have a good education, if you're a really talented person, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to go out there and find a well-paying job. So being a virtual assistant is actually one of the most successful career paths for a Filipino, is to work in this capacity. So that's why you see people that get into it, and if they're good, they stick with it for a while.
Nice. And now, when in the centers that you have, is it like people physically come there, or because then they have stable internet, they also have you have the ability to oversee and make sure that they're actually working the hours. So do they have an actual location that they show up to?
So I did. But I don't right now. And the reason why is it was actually, again, pre-COVID, but we made the decision about a year ago that I had enough veteran people that are really good team leads, that are responsible, independent, trustworthy. I have them manage the VAs so that they're able to do it all virtually. So I only have a small office with a few office team to do things like HR and that kind of stuff. But everybody else works remotely. And you're right, there are different parts of the countries, like in the Philippines, where they do have spotty internet. So one of the things that I do when we onboard a new staff member is we ensure that they have solid internet. They can't be one of our virtual assistants if they don't live in a place with a strong internet connection. And we actually provide them an allowance to be able to have an upgraded virtual connection so that the internet they're getting, the camera they're using, the laptop they have is all, quality stuff. So they don't have those gaps or laps in production because of, bad internet or whatever.
All right, so now let's talk pricing. Between hiring somebody in the U.S. And asking them to do all this, or hiring somebody in the Philippines, which I mean, obviously, it's more cost effective, but then you have to weigh out how good the end result is. But assuming the end result is the same, we know it's more cost effective. But how much more cost effective?
So this is just the reality of the global economy, right? Minimum wage in the U.S. in some states, the lowest is still around $8 an hour, and if you're in some states in the U.S., it's as much as 15, right? So you got to compare that, and then who you'll get for that price. Generally, somebody who probably doesn't have a 4-year degree, most likely someone without a lot of professional experience. Now, there are some great VAs that do have college degrees and do have great experience, but they generally charge $15 an hour or more. So when you're looking at trying to pay somebody a wage that you can grow your business around, if you're trying to really grow and scale your business and you want to take costs in mind, you can look at things like Fiverr or Upwork. You can find VAs there for $3-4 an hour, but it's kind of a crapshoot. You don't know who you're going to get. They're not vetted. It's really something where I think it's like a 50-50 chance if they're going to be a good VA or not. So the middle ground is where I'm at. It's a managed service where I actually hire employees. And so they're somebody that I've vetted, that I work with. In most cases, I've met them personally. And they are able to be much more consistent. I've had people that have been with me and working for my clients since 2013. So we're very, very consistent. And for that, we charge, depending on what you need for your business, between $8.50 and about $12 an hour is basically, if you want somebody who's got a lot of technical skill, can do finance, accounting kind of stuff, it may be closer to 12. If you're looking for basic social media, just share your story across social media, manage engagements, do some email marketing, that's probably about $8.50 an hour. So that's kind of our range.
Nice. And what about like growing somebody's LinkedIn profile or Instagram? Instagram's growing. What if somebody wanted a VA from your service to help them on Instagram?
So if you're looking for somebody who's got experience that can, again, grow your business in your voice, basically act as your proxy, we charge about $10 an hour for that. So that's really our target market right now is people that are looking to really grow their business through social media. That's where we've seen our biggest growth so far this year. Just people like yourself, like me, who do speaking, coaching, training. We're just too busy to do things consistently day after day. And so we want to have somebody who every day at 2:00 can not just drop a video like an a poster can do, but can engage, post, and pre-drop to make sure that the hype's building. And as people like and share things, you thank them, you comment on them in real time. And then as things go out there, you track the metrics to see, what are the things that are really working. So a VA managing your social media, if that's their primary focus, can give it that full-time approach, that consistent approach that a lot of entrepreneurs just, unfortunately, we just get too busy to do it every day. The consequence of that is that our audience forgets about us. Our audience really looks for consistency. They want to know that every Tuesday at 2:00, you're going to drop a new video that's about technology in your field, in your industry. They're going to want to know every Monday you're posting a calendar of upcoming events you'll be speaking at. And if they go there and they don't see it, they're going to go look for somebody else. So that consistency is super important with social media. And that's what my team really does primarily for our clients.
I love it. And you're right. It is important. I mean, if they don't know you, they can't flow you. So, you know what I mean? I don't have the hat up, but it should be up right there. 10X, Grant Cardone's one of his famous sayings. If they don't know you, they can't flow you. And but you're right. I mean, and with me, that's one of my biggest lines that I use with people is awareness equals opportunity. I mean, if they can't find you, they can't consider you, and they can't hire you. So if you're not top of mind, and you do, it's an omnipresence nowadays. You literally have to be multiple touch points, people got to see you.
Right.
And especially now, and at $10 an hour, if you're paying somebody, even, you're high end at $10 an hour, you're still, if you end up getting one client a month off their services, you made like a 500% profit, more than likely, right? And even if you didn't make money specifically off that, but that you were on, the various platforms you're building going forward. Online is 89 cents of every dollar is spent on the search engines. 11 cents of every dollar spent online is on social media. That's every social media platform combined. But you have to do both. You know what I mean? If you're focusing solely on social media, you're leaving so much money off the table. But also, if you're only doing online and you're not doing social media, you've got no real brand awareness, no loyalty, no following. People find you, they consider you, they hire you, but they don't get to know you. Whereas with the social media, they get to build a little bit of a rapport, or they can just go and check you out. Even if they never heard of you before, they've somehow become aware of you. Now they go back 4 months and just start. So I'm a big fan of both. If somebody wanted to connect with you, I mean, we got plenty of more time, but I want to make sure people get, here's a text opt-in that you're giving away. Let's talk about that.
Sure. So if you want to get started, just text the word data, that's DATA, to 26786. You'll get a form back. Just quickly fill out the form talking about, a couple things that you think you may want to outsource, some things that you're doing right now that are keeping you so busy you can't do other things. We look for things that are like social media posting, like email marketing, things that you're doing that really should be done by somebody else. Put a couple of those things in the form, send it back to us. You'll get contacted within a few hours. We'll kind of find out more about what we can do to help you and get the ball rolling. Usually takes about 3 days from when we first talk to when we get to be a VA for you. And it's going to be somebody that we're going to tailor for your business. So as we onboard you, we're going to make sure we match you up with that person. So if you want to get started, just text the word data to 26786. And if you do that through this show today, if your text opt-in comes in today, I'll give you a deal of 10 free hours. So if basically you sign up,
I'm opting in now. 10 free hours.
10 free hours. Yeah. So basically, you'll save like $100, right? So off your first, if you subscribe for 40 hours, you'll get 10 of them free. So.
Nice. Now, let me ask you, is there a limit? Do people, let's say somebody doesn't know off the hand, they don't know if it's going to work, they don't want to make a big commitment. Can they buy 10 or 20 or 30 hours, or do they have to buy 50 hours? I remember one place wanted me to buy 160 hours a month. And I'm like, 160 hours a month? I mean, geez, you know what I mean? So, is there a limit, a minimum where people have to buy X amount of hours with you?
Yeah, this is something we talked about last week, and it's something that I think is important that we have that option. But let me first share with you why people prefer to get that long-term commitment. It's not just the fact that they want to secure revenue; it's what's important for the VA. So somebody out there is looking for a full-time job. They want to be part of a business. They want to help put themselves in a situation where they can be something big picture. So that's something why you should consider. If you're hiring a VA and you just want project work, if you just want somebody to do 1 or 2 things for you, there are definitely good people out there to do that. But those are people that I think should go to Fiverr or Upwork. But if you think you want an employee, somebody who you want to help grow your business long term, that's where a VA through a service like mine probably is a better bet. And we do have 2 options. Normally, we try to get people to really think about 10 hours a week as a minimum. So that's about how much time we need to really have an impact on your business. If we're doing 2 hours a day on your social media, on your email marketing, building a newsletter, things like that, that's about the minimum amount of time we can take to have impact. However, if you're just getting started, if you're not sure if you really have something for them to do or want to take on that long-term commitment, we do offer the 40-hour starter package, right? So you just get 40 hours, you buy that. That's the one you can do for the 10-hour free discount if you opt in today. But those 40 hours use them as you need them, right? So we get you rolling. We do a couple things for you, eat up some of the hours, and if you love it, then maybe we convert you to a longer term relationship. But we do have that 40-hour package.
Nice. And I like how you made a distinction between, because some people are thinking, well, $10 an hour, I can go to Upwork and get it done for $3. Right. If you want a logo, if you want a one-time thumbnail or a thumbnail for something, right? But if you want somebody to like really kind of like be a part of what you're doing, they got to get to know you, get to know what you're doing. So they've got to be there. And also, you know, they're vetted and they go through you. So there is, you know, there's a little bit of a markup there, but for that markup, you're buying stability.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
Yeah, and that stability is priceless. I mean, you don't want to have to keep changing every 3 weeks, you know, because you save $2, you know what I mean, on something, right? So long term, you know, you're growing your business. You want to kind of like set it and forget it. You know that this aspect of your business is done and you can be over here focusing on whatever. I know in my case, my best thing is for me to be on the phone with clients. So if I'm sitting there and I'm you know, downloading and uploading these videos to YouTube and stuff, you know, there's 2 or 3 hours. I could have made 5, 10 phone calls, got 3 people on the line and closed one, and that might have been a $5,000 contract. Would it have been worth paying somebody $10 an hour for those, you know, 2 hours? Laura Langmeyer, a friend of mine, she tells people you shouldn't even be doing your own house cleaning. She says that 8 to 10 hours a week you do cleaning and ironing and all that, you sub that out for $8 to $10 an hour. Think about what you can do with 10 hours if you can focus on work.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of it, and I like the fact that it's vetted. I told you, you and I are probably going to work together. I have some things. Now, do you have people who are like, you know, skilled more so in like ClickFunnels and different things like that, a little bit higher end than, you know, just updating, you know, today I ate pizza or something on Facebook, you know what I mean? I can do that, you know what I mean? I do that quite frequently. I take a picture. Oh yeah, I ate that ice cream sundae. I hope you don't like it. I did. But so do you have people who specialize in like creating funnels and doing maybe creating online courses, or the process after the course is created, how to map it out in
Yes. So there's 2 things that we do for that. For example, I have one client that we've been working with. We've onboarded her back in April, and she's a doctor, and she does a lot of wellness training on the side. So she created a bunch of content over the years, and she had all these video files that were raw files, and she wanted to put them out there as a course. So she hired a VA with us, and the VA took the raw content, put intro and outro, put some graphics on it, uploaded them all to YouTube, and then is now migrating them to a platform that she could have a paywall for. So eventually the videos will go off of YouTube, at least most of them, and we'll just have some trailers and teasers on YouTube. But it will all drive traffic to the site where she can actually have a subscription service. And so that's the kind of thing we do. So I look at it as 3 parts, right? There's the collection, the paywalls. Need before that, they need some kind of process in the middle, and at the front you need the funnel, right? So the funnel is the first piece. Even a simple landing page that, you know, captures leads, we definitely can build that, especially if you're using like WordPress or Wix as your website. It's pretty easy for us to build some kind of landing page. We do have people that can do more complicated funnels, but that generally costs more like $12 an hour. That's a little bit more specialized skill. In the middle, what we do to really optimize an experience is look at the data, right? So a lot of business owners don't have the time to really look at Google Analytics, to look at Facebook Insights, to understand all the stats. So I trained my team on the data analysis as well, so that we're really looking for ROI. What's working, right? And then try to do more of that and less of what's not working. And then on the back end, we help build up something that's going to be sustainable. If you look at like my YouTube channel, for example, I just launched it, you know, back in January, and we had a goal to get 500 subscribers. We had a goal to get 50 videos out there. We set up playlists. We've got intros and outros to every video. All I do is record the content. I sit in front of a camera, talk about something for 10 minutes, and then my team does the rest. They put it on YouTube, they edit it, they put the music around it, the video, the graphics on it, they market it, they put it out there, they share it, they build up the subscriber list. So it frees me up to do not only what I should be doing, which is creating engaging content, but it's what I love to do. I don't like playing around with all the back end stuff. I don't like doing graphics. It's not my strength. So, I play to my strengths and let my team fill out the rest, and having a team of experts, a team of people that do other things than you is really important. And this is the last thing I'll stay on the topic, is that I learned a while ago that you have to delegate learning as well. You cannot learn everything yourself. It's foolish to think you have to know how to do everything. Like, right. You can become a master of I know you talk about learn it, do it, delegate it. And that's really good for the key things in your business. But it's probably going to kill you if you try to learn every new app out there, every new software. Like, for example, TikTok. Anybody over 30 who wastes their time trying to figure out how to market on TikTok is wasting their time. Let a kid do it. Let somebody who's going to be on TikTok, having fun, understanding it, enjoying it, they'll be much more powerful, and they can just tell you how it works versus you trying to figure out how to build a whole marketing strategy on something like TikTok. That's just an example, is delegate your learnings.
I love it. And I like what you're saying too. And what I like to say about learn it, do it, delegate it is you learn it to the point that you know what it is and you know the benefits and whether or not you need it. You don't have to learn it to be an expert, but you also learn it to a point where if somebody, if you are delegating it, you have an understanding of the platform, the timing and everything else that's involved. So somebody isn't telling you, it's taking 10 hours and charging you 10 hours for something that might take 3. So learn it, do it, delegate it doesn't mean you have to become an expert. It just means you have to know what are the benefits, what are the risks, is it something that benefits you or your clients. In my case, I probably have over 40 active clients. I had 79 before COVID, but a lot of them are on hold. They're still there. They're just not active right now. But there is an awful lot of, explaining to them that you've got to get out of doing it. You know what I mean? And if you think you can't afford $100 a week to hire a VA for $10, imagine that's 10 hours a week, right? That you now get that 10 hours, even if you make 40 phone calls, right? Because out of the 40 phone calls, 30 are going to voicemail. The 10 you're going to, if you got any type of, if you can sell and what you have has value, you get 10 people on the call. If you can't close 2, you know what I mean? Then you might want to get some VAs doing some calls for you, right? But let's say you got 2 and the lifetime value of your client is $5,000, right? There's 10 grand that you made for, giving up that 10 hours. So in closing, is there anything you want to tell us? We got this, I'm going to put back up here your opt-in. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us in the next couple of minutes before we close up?
Well, one thing I always think about is how I grew my business, right? I went from a business of one, corporate life my whole life until I hit 40, and then I decided I needed to do something different. When I set up my first business, it was a struggle because I was doing it all myself. I was doing my own social media, my own appointment setting, all my own networking, and it was killing me. So I hired a couple of VAs, and the VAs helped me grow that business. And from that point on, I realized that to really build a business, you need to think about the systems that you create that other people can do, right? So it's an idea of like developing things that other people can follow. And that's when you start the delegation, right? And I always think of Timothy Ferriss as the 4-hour work week. That book is pretty awesome. And one of the things he talks about a lot in the book is systems. And it occurred to me a couple years ago that I've got to that point in life where I've been blessed to have a life where I can take weeks and just work 4 hours. My team is running the business, doing what they need to be doing, and I can go enjoy life. Now, there are weeks I still work 100 hours a week, as most entrepreneurs do. But having that ability to, when you need to have that 4-hour work week, that's when you're in the sweet spot. And that's where I want my clients to get to, because I know how sweet it is to be there.
I love it. And when your clients get all their content and get all their stuff ready and their websites ready, and they need to get it in front of people, they can then come and contact me, and I'll get them in front of people, so they get more customers and clients, which turns around and means they buy more hours from you to serve those customers and clients.
Exactly. Beautiful
So,
connection.
yeah, it's a win-win. No, I'm a big fan. I really believe one of the best books I ever read was by Michael Gerber, right way back in the beginning, E-Myth Revisited. And that was one of the things he talked about from when you're going from infancy to adolescence, because there's different stages in your business. And one of the things he talks about that just rung true to me is you have to work on your business, not in your business. If you're working in your business, you don't have a business, you have a job. You need to be working on your business and have other people helping you on the flip side. So
Yes.
anything in closing?
No, I mean, just great opportunity. You know, like you said, it's all about building a connection with people and figuring out how you can provide service for them and they can do reciprocal back for you. So anybody who wants to get started with a virtual assistant, you know, reach out to me. Go ahead and text data to 26786 and we'll get you started. And Ron, thanks for the opportunity. I love what you do. I'm a big fan ever since we met at Rainmaker way back when.
Yeah.
And I love seeing what you do on social media. You are somebody who's definitely, you know, out there being a light for people to follow. So I appreciate that.
I love that. Thank you. And I got to be honest with you too, Rainmaker with Bill Walsh. When I went to Bill Walsh's Rainmaker, he came to Boston. I don't know, it must have been like 7-8 years ago or something, a long time ago. And he was doing an expo. I never even heard of him. And I just went to the expo with a friend of mine. I was going there passing out cards, just looking for other people doing the networking thing. But we sat down, there must have been 200-300 people in the room, and it was the big room. And Bill was up there speaking. And I got in for some reason, I got there early, so I was in the front row. So I'm hearing Bill, and he's speaking my language. I'm an internet marketer, I'm a business coach, he is too, but, you know, on a much higher level, right, serving, you know, thousands of people all over the world, and been doing it longer than probably I've been alive. No, we're about the same age. But you know how he got me though? Because he was talking, you know, he says, everybody loves free gifts. Okay, so who wants a free tape deck or something, right? Or a CD, right? And make sure you wrap them because they're like presents. Everybody likes presents, right? And he's so true, right? But he's so true. But and I put my hand up a couple of times and I didn't win, right? Then he said, I got a $5,000 ticket to an event in Las Vegas, and we're going to give you a suite for 2 nights. I'm like, I got to get this, right? And so it was for the Ultimate Wealth Camp. So when he says, who wants it? Bang, I was like this. And he goes, you win. And that's how I got into the Rainmaker. I went down there and man, I highly recommend, you know, and I was already making 6 figures a year. You know what I mean? So when I went to Rainmaker, I was already making 6 figures a year, and naturally, I still make 6 figures a year. I haven't made crashed the million mark, but the amount of money I made has increased, but the amount of work I do has decreased. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And yeah, so I'm a big fan of Bill Walsh and Power Team International. You know, I have just nothing but good things to say. And again, whether you're just starting a business or you're trying to grow and scale a business, no matter where you are, there's something for you there. And just imagine the people in the room. I used to go to some of the events. I went to Rainmaker 5 or 6 times. Some of the people in the room, they're my ideal customers and clients too. But I learned something every single time. But then I meet somebody in the room who does videos, right? I can help get people videos on the first page. I have clients who need video work. I send him the video work. He sends me a client who wants to get it done to get them ranked. So it's such a great positive environment.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. Yeah, it was one of those things that made me go from, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, to I'm really going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, it took me to a whole nother level, and I've enjoyed the association, and that's where we met, right? So I always have a fondness in my heart for that experience. So,
and ROI is very important, but nothing trumps ROR, return on relationships, getting to know somebody, seeing what they do, giving value first. When Bill talked about that, you know, my gut came was like, Yeah, but if you keep doing stuff for people first, they might just be taking advantage of it. And there's always people out there like that, right? And it was like, how do you draw the line? How do you know? But after a while, I got to it, and like John Asseroff, he talks about it too, and he gives away like 90%. And he's like, dude, you're crazy. You're giving away 90%. And he's like, yeah, but what I'm giving away is so good that when they say that whatever I charge for, that 10% must be, mind-boggling, right? So there's a lot of mindset that really needs to be changed in business owners' minds because it holds you back. And getting into like whether it's Rainmaker, listening to John Asseroff, reading Think and Grow Rich, or any of these other different things, it just starts the process, and pay up, man. Pay up. Go to these events and sit in the VIP section because you're going to be sitting next to other people, and sometimes it's $200 more, right? And they give you dinner, but so what? But now you're sitting down talking to people who are successful in business. They can become. You can learn from them. They can learn from you. You can become joint venture partners in some level. I could go on and on, man, but I'm a big fan of the whole process. There's like 7 or 8. Whether it's Rainmaker or Greg Reed or Habitude Warrior Conference, or, there's a whole bunch. Yeah, there's a whole bunch that I just pipe into, and they all have value in multiple ways. In closing, Dan, even though I said that to you before, but my coffee's kicking in because I spoke for like 3 minutes straight. So you say something in closing, brother.
This is the coolest thing about having a virtual assistant. And I kind of talked about it a little bit before, but I'll wrap it up like this. When I go to bed at night, every night, I sleep well because as I'm sleeping, things are getting done. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at my phone, I check what my team did, and I've already got things checked off my to-do list. And there is nothing that helps you get a better bounce in your step to start the day than knowing that whatever you do today, you've already been productive. That is the best thing about having a virtual assistant.
I love it. 10 by 10 and all that other stuff, right? All right, Dan, thank you so much. You've been an excellent guest. I'm a big fan of the Learn It, Do It, Delegate It. If you want to grow and scale your business, you've got to bring people in. If you're not in a position to be paying people, I don't want to say American wages, but, a decent graphic artist and stuff over here, you're paying $90 and up, right? So if you can at least start the process of growing and scaling your business by outsourcing, you might really want to consider it. And Wood will be talking too. I want my 10 hours. No, just kidding.
All right. Sounds good, man.
You have a great day, brother. Bye for now.
All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.